Hi everybody, this is Michelle Baker, licensed mortgage loan originator in the state of Michigan, NMLS number 134526. Today is April 6th, coming to you with some more mortgage news that you can use. I'd like to highlight the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act that was signed into law July 21st, 2010. The Federal Reserve Board has determined that compliance with this rule shall become mandatory upon April 1st, 2011. An administrative stay was entered on March 31st, 2011, and was ordered dissolved April 5th, 2011. The board recognized the prohibition on certain compensation practices would require entities, both small and large, to alter their business practices, develop new business models, retrain staff, and reprogram operational systems to ensure compliance. The board has issued final rules amending Regulation Z to prohibit certain practices. The final rule prohibits a creditor or any other person from paying, directly or indirectly, compensation to a mortgage broker or other originator that is based on mortgage transaction terms or conditions except the amount of credit extended, meaning loan size. If the loan originator imposes a processing fee on the consumer in connection with the transaction and retains such a fee, it is deemed compensation. In this case, the originator may not be compensated by the creditor. The board maintains that if the consumer pays loan originators directly and creditors pay the originators through higher interest rates, consumers may be injured by unwittingly paying originators more compensation than they agreed to pay. For this reason, many mortgage brokers will no longer charge the processing fee as they stand to earn more from the creditor based on the loan size. The brokers must pay the same bills with the same revenues or lower revenues, so the result is the individual loan officer's compensation will be restricted to a set amount to allow for operation costs to be paid out of the total pre-negotiated amounts. Risk-based pricing are factors that affect the credit risk, such as credit score, debt to income, etc. This rule does not prohibit risk-based pricing. It is permissible so long as the originator's compensation is not based on the risk adjustments to the interest rate. Borrowers representing higher risk will still pay higher rates than borrowers who represent lower risk. The board is not imposing a cap on the amount of loan originator compensation that can be paid in a particular transaction. The creditors and loan originators will likely have pre-negotiated compensation agreements indicating a set amount to be paid on every loan. The loan originator will have to keep records on compensation agreement that was in effect on the date that the transaction's interest rate was set and a record of the actual amount of compensation paid to the loan originator. Loan originator's compensation cannot be based on interest rate, annual percentage rate, loan to value, prepayment penalty, consumer credit score, debt to income. These are all things that loan originators were actually previously having to subtract from their earnings for. Illustrative examples of compensation methods that are permissible: the loan originator's overall volume, long-term performance of the loan originator's loans, an hourly rate, a payment amount of a fixed amount, or a fixed percentage. A mortgage broker cannot credit part of its compensation at closing. So the days of the loan originator paying money because the buyer is short cash to close, reducing their fees, etc., it's no longer allowed. The rule also provides a safe harbor. A loan originator is deemed to comply with the anti-steering prohibition if the consumer is presented with loan options or scenarios. One must be the lowest interest rate. Number two must be no risky features such as prepayment penalty, negative amortization, or balloon payment in the first 7 years. And number three, a loan with the lowest dollar amount for origination points or discount points. The options presented must be obtained by the originator from the creditors on loans that the originator regularly does business with. The loan originator must believe in good faith that the consumer is likely qualifies for the loan options. If a single loan fulfills the criteria of all loan options, loan originators satisfy the requirement by presenting that loan alone. There are no guarantees of the best deal. The loan originator is not required to offer loan options from more than one investor. The loan officer need not tell the buyer if loan options of all the loan options that borrower may qualify for. The loan officer is not required to offer all loan types. So, hope this helps. Another edition of Mortgage News that you can use.